Hello and welcome back to the channel. With me is Clay. And Clay, last night was very quiet in terms of regards of Manchester United. Obviously, it's the off season. Our season is done. There is football going on, obviously, Champions League final, Europa League final. But I'll be honest with you, as a United fan, I'm not in a good space at the moment, obviously. I'll be lying to you if I said I was all happy, cheerful, positive about Man United. Man United have a big impact on my happiness, and I'm sure many other United fans' happiness as well. But before we get into that, Clayton, how are you feeling on this day?
Oh, I'm feeling all right. It's always tough to be a Man United supporter during the transfer windows when we're getting next to nothing done.
That is true. The transfer window does have a huge impact on, us because we tend to work very slow. But before we get into anything, breaking news this morning. Woken up. I just woken up. I'll go on social media just to check, whatever's happening around Manchester United, and it came out that Harry Maguire, Mr. Captain of Manchester United, is in Greece. If you don't know why he's in Greece, he's there for holiday. It's the off season, so he's in Greece for holiday. And it came up that early parts of this morning, Greek officials have reported that he has been arrested with as long as a group of other Englishmen, and it just seems to be like a certain fight. It is, not all the full story hasn't been released yet. So it was just the reports are saying that he was just in a fight and that he has been arrested. And United have been made aware of the situation. They have been in contact with Harry, and they said that Harry is working cooperatively with the Greek officials and doing the best he can. And knowing Harry Maguire, he doesn't seem like the person who will go out and fight. It doesn't seem like he seems like if he was involved, he'd probably be breaking it up or whatever. But so if we had to read into it, obviously we don't know the full story. It could be something of the other group of guys who are involved and are United fans or non-United fans, and they just maybe said something to Harry or Harry's friends. Maybe footballing or non-footballing related. We don't know, but
Yep.
the situation is Harry Maguire was obviously is just a normal person like one of us.
Yep.
He just went out with a group of mates on holiday. Maybe had a couple of beers. I don't think Harry Maguire will be completely smashed. He's still at the end of the day a professional footballer, so you can't just do that. You can't just get completely knocked off your head on alcohol. So I'd be very surprised if that came out. But yeah, on the whole situation, it's not good for Manchester United's reputation. It's not good on him as he's the captain of Manchester United. So it just reflects what stories around the captaincy of Manchester United. And prior to this whole incident, some would argue that Maguire should have been removed of the captaincy based on field
Mm.
performances. And I agree. I always said Harry Maguire is not a captain on field. I based it on field performance. And now with this whole situation on it, Clay, I got two questions for you. One is what do you think of the whole situation, and two, where do you see this captaincy thing, ending?
Okay. So, firstly, I do just agree with you. I think it's just a poor reflection on Maguire himself. I think it's a poor reflection on Man United. It's just not good for either party involved here. At the end of the day, he is held to very high standards. He is a professional footballer. He is the captain of one of the biggest clubs in Europe, in the world. It's just something you can't go out and do. If he was still at Leicester, maybe it'd be a bit more acceptable, but still not, well,
Sure.
praised. Sure, it's still not praised, but at Manchester United, you are a world-class club. You are looked up to by hundreds of millions around the world, day in, day out. You can't go around just fighting people. So, sincerely hoping that he did not cause a fight and that he was rather trying to break something up and just got caught in the altercation with the arrest, and that he didn't actually invoke anything, because that is not something a captain should ever do at a club like ours. And with the captaincy situation, I don't think anything will change, honestly, within the club. I think it probably should change, even if we were just basing it off sheer performances. Recently, we've seen how Bruno has come up and shown his leadership by going to shout at Lindelof when he made the mistake and left the man open in the box after he conceded.
Mm.
And things like that we don't see from Maguire. He is definitely more a lead by example type of guy, but sometimes you need that vocal that's gonna shit on you when you do something wrong, that's gonna call you out and just get you fired up to prove him wrong. Because that's what Lindelof did at the end of the day as well.
Mm.
You didn't see him just back off. He felt better. You got a little bit more involved in the game, like dying minutes.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. And the irony is, you said Maguire is more of a captain that leads by example. And,
Yeah.
this obviously, this
Well,
story
well
coming
versed.
out, yeah, yeah. Well, this story
Change.
coming out, obviously, it does change some things. But like we said, we don't know the full story yet. We can make a more educated and informed opinion when the whole full story and club statement is probably released. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if nothing changes. Knowing this club, Ollie does fancy Harry Maguire, but I think this does need to change. I think if I was the players and I'm looking this game out, obviously the players would understand. He's one of your teammates. He could be one of your friends even. You'd probably be like, I feel sorry for Harry. Harry. So it might not change anything, like you said. But if it was up to me, I would have removed that captain armband straight from him, based on field performances, based on what he's done on the field. I think it's too much pressure for him. I think it's affecting his game. I think it's I prefer him not to have the responsibility. And like I said, I think I was watching Norridin, that guy Red Devil on Twitter. He was actually saying that United do need a bottler in this team. Someone not a bottler like that, but someone who's going to go and completely rinse you. We need that type of Roy Keane personality. Bruno, obviously you can't be Roy Keane in the modern day to that extent, but Bruno is a good example of what United need. United need more players like that. So, if I was United, I'd give it to Bruno. But the reasons why I don't think they'll give it to Bruno is, like you said, Maguire is loved by the club. Maguire is English. He generally doesn't do this. But, again, what I would say is this looks like an English bias. Why shouldn't Bruno be given the captain's armband? Is it just because he's not English? Because you don't see Bruno get into trouble that often off the field. He said it himself. I just like being a family guy at home. I like to sleep on the couch, on the field. I do my job, whatever. I don't want the best for the team. So, yeah, Bruno for me should be our captain replacement. What I'll say is, if Maguire does get, if the captaincy does get removed from Maguire, and it was based on this whole arrest situation, what I would say is, it's a bit unfortunate and it's a bit sad, because I wouldn't want Maguire to lose his captaincy based on this. I would have wanted Ollie to say, listen, Maguire, the only reason I'm removing this and I'm revoking it from you is because of the performance on the field. Because at the end of the day, you're a normal guy. Yes, you might be regarded as a superstar. Yes, you are a big influencer, a role model to many, and you should not ever do this. No one should ever be in this situation. But, at the end of the day, you are a human being. These things do happen. Sometimes it's out of your control. But I don't want that to be the reason. So if it is the reason he does get removed from the captaincy, it is what it is. Manchester United is a big football club. They will not want this happening. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'll agree with it still, because at the end of the day, Bruno will be our captain, hopefully. Or even Pogba. Someone would say argue Pogba would be our captain. But, that's an argument for another thing. I don't want to dwell too much on that, because, like I said, we've got a lot to talk about. And obviously, just moving on from the Maguire thing, we'll just see how that develops over the day and over the weeks. But yeah, moving on, United season to come to an end. We clashed out of the Europa League. And yeah, Claire, what are your thoughts? Because obviously you went there at the match reaction. What are your thoughts after that game, just briefly?
Oh, I was very disappointed, to say the least. Not quite frustrated and upset, but just very disappointed. We had so many chances we should have put away, and just very small defending mistakes that cost us so much and just resulted in the 2 goals. Literally, just resulted in the 2 goals. Poor defending. And it's really sad, because I actually agree with what Maguire said at the end of the game, that the best team lost today. And I do think we're the better team, and we need a bit more work done, definitely, to be able to win those games in the future.
But like with that Maguire thing, again, you're looking back on it. The best team did lose, right? Like I said, Martial, Greenwood, Bruno, Pogba, Fred didn't deserve to lose that game. They played well. For me, they played well. Yes, they could have taken a few more chances, but the defense let us down. Bluntly, the defense let us down. It was shambolic. It was an absolute disgrace. You should not be getting those type of goals in. It was actually ridiculous. It was amateur stuff. And United, obviously, that's in the past. But United are now in the Champions League, right? You and I have been watching Champions League. I'm sure many other people have been watching Champions League, especially United fans now, because we all still love football at the end of the day. We aren't just only United. So we've watched a lot of Champions League. We have watched a lot of Champions League over the years, with United, without United. We know that Champions League quality is it is for the elite. I don't care if you guys say Premier League is the best competition. Premier League is the most competitive competition. To win a Champions League, is elite status. It is you are the kings of Europe, and just play based on the performances, based on the problems at United. How far do
Yeah.
you think we all are of the likes of teams like a Bayern Munich who are just wrecking everyone? Teams are like a PSG who seem to have finally clicked once. Even teams like Leipzig who have good coaching, maybe not world class players. Their names aren't world class. They might be world class players, but their names aren't world class. Regard teams like Lyon, even. Again, just going to the semi-finals. How far do you think United are from being to that elite status again?
Well, I think we should also look at home as well, because how far off are we from Man City? How far off are we from Liverpool? Because
Yeah.
as soon as you answer those questions, you also get a real feel for how far we are off from the Bayern Munichs, from
Mm.
the Barcelonas, from even though Barcelona bummed out in 8-2 fashion, we're still far off all those teams. And it's sad to say, but we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of room to grow. We do have a very young side, at least. So they're going to be growing exponentially very soon. And hopefully that'll help us immensely during our Champions League push next season.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you made a very good point. We look at home, how far we go from someone like City, Liverpool. Obviously, City and Liverpool are elite teams. Liverpool won the Champions League recently. City, okay, they've never ever done it. Always seem to bottle it,
Yeah.
but they've done it recently and in a good fashion. And Spurs were also there. And we look at that, and we think this season, where was City and Liverpool this season? Where was Spurs? Where were Chelsea? Chelsea are on the rise. We look at our rival clubs now. Arsenal, Spurs, they are behind us. They are behind us, but they are
Yeah.
closing the gap. They are making signings. Everything is they closing the gap. We are supposed to increase the gap because we're supposed to move forward and not just stay stagnant and remain behind. Liverpool, they're a bit stagnant, but still they're getting business done. City always get business done. Chelsea's business, who are our main rivals at the moment. Our main team to catch. Set the bar. We're supposed to go with Chelsea to the next level. They are leaving us behind. The way United, and this is where I'm getting upset. Because yes, our owners, whatever, but it's depressing. I'll be honest, it's freaking
Yeah.
depressing. It's depressing
It
as a
is.
United fan, sitting here watching rival teams do business, and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening on your side, and you just think to next season, like we've seen what these players can do. We see what Oli can do with these players. How can we expect Oli and this team to do more than that now next season if nothing changes, if no reinforcements are added, and we look at again quickly on we look at this season, 3 semi-finals we made this season with this team. Arguably, Bruno, Pogba, Rashford was out for a large portion of the season, so some would argue, maybe we'll see what happens when Bruno and when the full team is there from the start. Let's see what happens. Maybe Bruno can do stuff, but that's one man. Bruno is one man. Bruno will get tired eventually. Bruno can't. He will have bad games. We've seen Bruno have bad games. We've seen Bruno do amazing things. Again with Pogba, Pogba, he could get an injury again. Rashford doesn't look half the player he was when he was in form, when Rashford was having that amazing run of form. So, do you think that the question that was brought to me to ask you is that do you think that this like the three semi-finals we've made do you think there's a mentality issue in the club, or do you think it's fatigue, or do you think there's something else deeper than just a mentality issue?
Oh, I think there's a lot that's happening. I do think the mentality issue is definitely there. I think considering how many chances we had just against Sevilla, we can see that we weren't putting them away, we weren't finishing them, and that could come down to straight up coaching. It could go down to the mentality of the club at the time, that we just haven't been able to push that little bit extra forward to give us the edge over other teams. And especially when it comes down to signings and what our rivals have been doing, we need to catch up. It's a big problem in the club. We need to catch up. You can't have the likes of Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and potentially Kai Havertz all going to one team that's going to be fighting us the hardest for those top 4 spots right now. It's very poor on the club in general, and I feel like we're going to need to pull a Barcelona very soon and just have a full reset of the club. We're in like not prime time for that. We need a reset. We need a mental restart. We need to shift everything forward. We need to be looking towards the future. which we have done admittedly with our players, considering we're fielding the youngest squad we've ever done, basically.
Yeah.
We are doing that with the squad, but the management hasn't changed. Everyone higher up hasn't changed as well, and it just hurts us in the long run.
Well, it hurts United fans. I doubt the Glazers or Ed really care about us because
Yeah.
personally, I don't think they do. And it just leads me on to the next point, quickly. On Gabriel, left-footed centre-back, 6 foot, right?
Yeah.
His favourites for Napoli and Arsenal.
Yeah.
It looks highly likely everyone's recruiting that Arsenal are in the race. He's around like 20-something million or to 30 million, 20 to 30 million, right? You'll get Gabriel, right? And the ridiculous thing is this morning, again, this is breaking news this morning. Gabriel came out saying, is there been a bid from United? Because he wants to know, has there been a bid from United? So, that's got United fans very excited because clearly Gabriel has said, Arsenal have put in a bid. I know Arsenal put in a bid. I know Napoli want me. But where's United? So it looks like he wants a United move. And he said he's waiting for Manchester to make a late bid in. But again, you look back, the Glazers, United don't work like that. United don't work like that. I feel sorry for Gabriel. Because Arsenal fans, and rightfully so, they're going to say, oh, Gabriel chose us over you guys. How can you guys say that you didn't want him? You weren't in for him. He clearly chose. But yeah, okay, he chose you guys. But he came out saying, where's the United bid? And now, again, it is giving United fans hope. It's giving them hope. Something that would happen. Perfect. Ollie clearly wants a left-footed, left centre-back. He clearly wants a left-footed centre-back to partner either Maguire, Lindelof. That's an argument for another. But he clearly wants one. Gabriel is one of those. He's young. He's Brazilian. He might not be the best. But again, it just shows the direction of the club. Like, where are we? Are we a football club or are we a business? Are we not going to get Gabriel because we're so focused on Jadon Sancho, which I'll get into now because I read some very interesting things on that. But again, it's just there's no direction of this club, and our fans could be admitted that what do we expect? What do you expect? Is our expectations high? Why do we let the Glazers have an effect on our mental health? What do we expect? What do you expect? But then again, when I look at it, I'm like, I love this club. I really do love this club. I want United to go back to elite. So why must my standards drop? United should be getting this player no matter what. And it's just a mess at United at the moment. So, but that's the Gabriel story again. Just to summarize up, I've been waffling. I'll be honest, I've been waffling. But just to summarize it up, Arsenal put a bid in. Napoli want him. He told his agent and came out saying, "Where's the United bid?" And that reliable reporters are saying that he shall make his decision within the next 48 hours. Do you think there's any glimmer of hope that we can get this deal done?
We know United, and when have they ever gone in for a steal? Yeah. When have they ever actually got a deal over the line that was actually a deal? Paying 20, 30 million for a young defender who just had a pretty decent season that's also linked to club rivals should be someone that we're signing 9 out of 10 times, not 1 out of 10 at this point. Yeah. So he definitely should be signed. It's just a case that I do believe that United is run more like a business than a club, which is very sad for the fans. Definitely not sad for the owners, but we're the ones that are affected the most by it. And Gabriel should be ours. Yeah.
What I would say is United fans, everyone deals with their problems differently. Some fans will be like, it is what it is. What do you expect? I move on with life. I'm not going to allow the Glazers or United to have an effect on my happiness. It's not my fault. I can't do anything about it. I'm not the owner. I can't buy Gabriel out as I would. So some fans will have that. Some people will be like, listen, I'm a United fan. I love this club with all my heart. It's the reason it gives me happiness every week. It's one of the big reasons it makes me happy. And they'll be like, I don't want my expectations to drop. I have high standards, and it's fair play. What I'll say is, to any United fans judging other United fans, we need to stop. We all, at the end of the day, we're all United fans. I feel like the fan base has become very divided, toxic, and rightfully so. Everyone has their opinion, but the fans got to stick together, and we just got to stick together, and we'll get through it. Life does move on. United not getting Gabriel, not getting Sancho won't be the end of the world, obviously. It definitely won't, because United as a football club will move forward, and again with moving forward, this is what I read on Jadon Sancho. Just a quick update on Jadon Sancho. I read that Joel Glazer. So that's the main Glazer's name, Joel Glazer. He has stand firm and said that the Sancho deal must not go through because he doesn't want to pay 120 million for Jadon Sancho. He doesn't feel like it's worth it. He doesn't agree with it, and again, it shows an American owner with no knowledge whatsoever of football. Well,
Yep.
football. It's football. It's not soccer. The Glazers can fuck off. It is football. With no knowledge whatsoever, is stepping into such a big deal. And it's a statement signing. It's whether or not this club is serious about moving forward. And he's coming in and saying that he's not happy with it. And there's rumors coming out that the reason why we haven't signed anyone is because United financially are in trouble because the Glazers have supposedly used United's funds to buy players for the NFL team or something. I don't know. I mean, some American sport bullshit. I couldn't care less about that. But they've used United's revenue, United's funding, to go buy those players, those star class players for American sport teams, which I think is wrong. How can you do that? It's ridiculous. Obviously, we're not the owners; they can do whatever they want. But again, it just shows what clowns we have running our football club. It's actually ridiculous, and we as fans suffer. So yeah, just on the Jadon Sancho thing, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So supposedly we are in some big trouble. I wouldn't say big trouble, like the end of the world, but there are some troubles. And you know what? The trouble is for me now. I'm looking at that statement from Joel Glazer. If this is all true, and I'm saying United aren't going to sign anyone this summer. And if United don't sign anyone this summer, what happens next season?
That's true. But the upside to actually signing Jadon Sancho would be just the sheer amount of sales and revenue he would bring the club just by himself. You could recoup that 120 million very easily. Just by shirt sales, with the sheer amount of people that are hyped about this kid coming to United, most of them would end up buying a shirt of his, and you'd recoup that so quickly.
How much is a United shirt? A United shirt is like how much? £66, I think?
Was it 69? Like 69, 90, whatever it was, yeah.
Okay, so £69, right? Jadon Sancho, you buy Jadon Sancho, number 7 at the back. How many people around the world buy that shirt?
Oh, boy. Just
because who came out? I think it was I can't remember. He was the journalist on the United stand who came on. He said United make £5 million roughly each game.
Yeah.
Which is so.
I'm not surprised.
United make money, right? Money isn't the problem. Our owners, the recruitment ed, and the way we are run is the problem. United will always have money. United will always pull in revenue streams. They'll always unless something bad happens. touch wood, that doesn't happen. But unless something really drastic happens and United just plummet to the ground, United will have money. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. United, like what you're saying is logical. United will make their money back if you get Jadon Sancho. It's logical. They'll make it back. What an asset he'll be as well to the club. You'll get probably Champions League football. You're looking at this current team now with all our rival fans spending money. They'll have a better squad for next season. It's like we start to drop. We were third now. Chelsea with their signings, we dropped below them now.
Yep.
Arsenal brought their signings. United have a rough patch because it's not a good season. Drop below them. Spurs, okay, maybe above Spurs or Arsenal, but it could be very troublesome, for United.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is logical, but our owners and the people above, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, are not logical. They're retarded. They're retarded. It's ridiculous and it's disappointing.
It seriously doesn't make sense. So even if we do some basic math, say a maximum of 20 million people around the world, which is a vast understatement, buy that number 7 Jadon Sancho shirt, you will make a profit. You will make your money back just off shirt sales. Never mind the amount of marketing that you can make off of Jadon Sancho.
Yeah,
never mind all the people that are going to want to sponsor him. Never mind all the people that just want his signature in general. He is a commodity that we should be looking at. It's very much an investment, and it's just a down payment that you could pay back within a month, not even. Which is ridiculous to say. A club earning 120 million in a month sounds ridiculous to a normal person.
Yeah.
But they very easily could. That's the crazy part. You play one game with Jadon Sancho, you'll probably get an all-time viewer high again.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's proper ridiculous. And I was thinking back to the Bruno deal. I'm like, surely, Bruno should have surely been the light switch in your head now. You took the
Yeah.
risk. You finally listened to the fans. You listened to everyone, and you took
Fans
the
are
risk. And you bought Bruno. The amount of positivity Bruno brought and what he brought on the field to Manchester United was ridiculous. Surely you'd learn from a Bruno signing and move forward. And now we're back here again with another window, sitting as
Yeah.
United fans, dwelling, in our own shit. That's what we do. We're dwelling in our own shit because they're not doing anything, and we are not moving forward. And it's not good. And what I will say is, let's just say worst case scenario, United don't get the deal done over the line, right? I don't want to be negative, right? I'm really trying to find some positive lining here, right? Worst case, United don't get it on. We stick with this team. This team on paper, in a fantasy world on paper, if they're always fit and they played every week, I believe that first team could beat any team in the league. I think they could.
Yeah.
But that's a fantasy world. Injuries will happen, fatigue will happen. Bad runs of form will happen. You're not going to get. We've seen it with Rashford. You're not going to get the same Rashford all the time.
Yeah.
You won't get the same Martial all the time. So it's you can't think like that. And it leads me on to our fixture list for next season. Everything's building up to next season. Right around the corner. We got to get our move on as United. First month, I think I wrote it down here. We're playing Burnley, Palace, Brighton. Fair to say 9 points? I'm 3-6. Yeah, fair to say 9 points from those 3 games. All the wins. Even without signings.
It's tough with this team, so it's just really tough to predict it. Because the Burnley could cause an upset because they play low block football that we struggle to break down. Crystal Palace could have a magic Zaha moment. If Palace lose Zaha, I don't see a reason why we don't win that, in all honesty. Only the Burnley one should be suspect, in all honesty, but it should be a 9 points. We're meant to be one of the top dogs, and it's sad to think that we aren't sometimes when it comes to middle to lower teams.
So would you be happy with 6 points? Is that what you're saying? Would you be happy from 6 points out of the 9 in that first month? Personally, I don't think it's good enough. I think 9 points.
I don't think it's good enough, but I think that's where our squad is. Well, our mentality is at with the squad. I think that we're lacking a good chunk of something that's going to push us to beat the lower teams week in, week out. Because we didn't show it last season. We seriously didn't show it last season at all. So I can't really expect more than what we've seen, unfortunately, with this club.
I mean, listen, maybe we have to react. Maybe things will happen. Sancho might just happen. Maybe Grealish happens. Maybe Gabriel tomorrow is announced. Things can happen. So maybe we are just being a little bit. We both might be a little bit reactionary, but I kind of agree. And then the next month looks like a death month. I think it's Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Spurs, I have faith we can beat Spurs. Newcastle, they pulled an upset, so based on history, anything could happen. And then Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea's new team, ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important to get our players over the line. Because Chelsea's new team versus our current new team is ridiculously more ahead. They're going to be fresh. They're going to be happy, the happy camp. They're going to want to show definite things. Arsenal, Aubameyang, new deal, Willian, if they get Gabriel, player we wanted, they could also give us trouble. So that month looks really bad. And I'm not looking forward to that. That month I'm not looking forward to. What do you think about that month?
The weird thing with United is that I'm somehow more confident in the Chelsea game that we get something off than the Burnley game. Just because of how wonderful. It's so strange that.
Oli does turn to win those type of weird games. He did it last season, so based on the history, he does.
The only good thing to look forward to for Chelsea is their defense is still terrible.
Yeah.
They haven't assigned any defensive players. We could easily score, but by the same token, they have monsters up front that are going to just terrorize Maguire and Lindelof all game, and they're going to score. There's no doubt in my mind. Unless we're fielding like 7 at the back, they're getting through.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. I think that's fair to say. But again, it just shows where we're at. It's dark times as United fans. Once again, it's dark times as United fans. But who knows? At the end of before the season starts, we might be sitting with the Jadon Sancho, but Jack Grealish and Gabriel in a fair, ideal scenario. We sit with those two guys. Realistic scenario, we probably sit with one.
One of realistic.
But something bad. It's like I'm so negative at the moment. I don't want to be negative, but I feel like I'm so negative at the moment because something's even telling me like United clearly want Sancho. That's the priority. But
Yeah.
if you don't get Sancho, why does that give them reason to go spend on Jack Grealish or Gabriel? That's why I feel like if we don't get Sancho, we're getting no one. We are
Yeah.
getting no one. So
Glad it
and
feels
then
like that.
yeah. But what I will say is, he's not a new signing because he is our player, but he's back at Carrington today. Dean Henderson is back.
Yeah.
He drove into Carrington today. Didn't look very happy, but it's
Yeah, in
whatever.
all honesty.
He just drove back in, Didn't read too much into that, but and there's rumors that Romero could leave. So, but again, this situation it feels complicated again because yes, it
It
gives
is.
De Gea competition now. De Gea starts to think like, oh my goodness, I need to perform. But then I agree, you can't have two amazing goalkeepers on the bench because I think if you keep it on goalkeeper is a very unique position. It's not like the other position where if Rashford's on the bench because of Sancho or Greenwood's on the bench because of Sancho or Grealish is on the bench because of Bruno. It's not like that where they can come in. If you leave a goalkeeper on the bench, it's different because De Gea could have an amazing run of games, and when you need Dean Henderson, he's rusty now, and then he's not on form. Or De Gea has two bad games, and you're like, oh my god, switch the goalkeeper because Dean Henderson is so-called world class, and then he comes in and he makes mistakes, and you're thinking like, now what? Now you bring back De Gea, who was you dropped in the initial case, so it makes a lot of confusion. But what I will say is, if I had to look from it from a fan point of view, I like it. I really do because I think De Gea needs it. I think even the fact that Romero, if the story is true that Romero wants to leave because he wasn't happy with all he did in the Europa League, I agree. I back Romero because Romero is an amazing professional. But if that's the reason, maybe he's thinking, I left my dream here. Fair enough. I left my dream at United. I am a bit old. Maybe I can get some first in football. Just end my days off there. So that could happen.
Yeah.
But the case where it looks like we have now, Dean Henderson at the club. So Dean Henderson doesn't leave. He doesn't go on loan or anything. He's at the club. Who are you picking?
In all honesty, I'm still going to stick with the hair. I won't just make the reactionary jump. The only thing that I'll have issue with is that Dean Henderson could just end up stagnating a bit by sitting on the bench versus playing 40 plus games a season, I think that's a big issue. When you're not getting game time, I think players really start to feel it. I think the rust really shows. I think of someone that has that much potential as Dean Henderson does right now, I don't think it's wise just to have him as a bench warmer. I don't think that is the play for us. Unless we're going to field him in every other competition except the Prem, no matter what, I don't think it's fair on him. And I don't think that that should be the case. I do hope that Romero ends up staying and then we can get him another loan.
Yeah, that I think I would agree with that. Like I said, I'd give De Gea another year with Romero to stay here, and I'll send Dean Henderson somewhere to carry on playing. But in the scenario where Dean Henderson has to stay, Romero leaves, and we have De Gea and Henderson now both here. What I would say, Dave, listen. Right, last season, I know it was a stinker for you, right? But you've been amazing for our club. You have really been amazing for our club.
We can give you
What
a
I would
chance.
say to De Gea is, what I would say, this is your last chance. I'd say De Gea, here's your run of games. If you don't perform in this run of games, I will drop you. And what I will tell to Dean Henderson is, listen, I'm going to give Dave this, and I'll say to Dean, you know what? If he doesn't perform, I'm going to select you as a keeper, and to make you feel secured in, no matter your performances, I'll stick with you. I'm going to stick with you that season. I think Ollie has to stick with one of these keepers throughout the season. He can't say like, listen, Dean, if De Gea performs badly, I'm going to bring you in, and then tell De Gea, yeah, and then you can't tell De Gea when he's dropped, when Henderson doesn't play well, I'll bring you back because we just what is that? It's great. It's confusion. So Ollie has to make a decision, and he'll stick with someone. So that's what I would do if I was manager. I'll tell De Gea, listen, it's your opportunity there. I'm giving you the start. Take it or leave it. If you don't perform, I'm dropping you, and no matter what happens, I'm sticking with Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson can have a stinker, but at least he kind of earned it. Dean Henderson deserves to be in that spot. So that's what I would do. Would you maybe have reverse switch? Would you give Dean Henderson the start and say, listen, perform now, and if you don't perform, I'm going back to my number one, and that's it. And that's it done.
I agree with your stance, your initial stance. I do think De Gea starting. I think he still is a world class keeper. I think he still has a lot of moments of being one of the best. I don't think that we should put that much pressure on Dean Henderson just yet. Going, well, if you don't perform, he's coming back in, and you know you're not going to get your place back, because that's all that he would be hearing at the end of the day, no matter how well you phrase it. You'd just be hearing, if I don't do well, I am going to lose my first team place to one of the best goalkeepers in the world and probably not be able to regain it for the rest of the season. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure on a young lad that has a lot of potential, and it'll make him nervous in goal at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like I said, I think, United fans all around the world, ideally what we would like is the old De Gea back for this season. Yeah. Romero still being there as a backup, and then Dean Henderson goes again on loan. Or goes, goes on loan. Don't sell Dean Henderson. Don't sell. Put him on loan. Yeah. Send him on loan, and, that's that with Dean Henderson stuff. And, just to summarize the whole show, generally we are frustrated with the transfers. Yeah. With the Joel Glazer thing, if anyone doesn't know, Joel Glazer is supposedly the main man why the deal with Sancho is stalling and it's just blocked. It's because Joel Glazer doesn't want to pay the money. So, we might need some fans there with some players at his house soon. You know what I mean? Because last time that happened, we got Bruno next day. The next day, Bruno was at this club. So, I don't advocate violence, but, you do you guys. You do you. Maguire arrested for allegedly being in a fight. We don't know if he fought. We don't know if he broke it up, but he was there. We'll see what happens with that. Gabriel, heavily linked with Arsenal, and Napoli looks like Arsenal are favourites. They already put in a bid, but Gabriel said that he wants to wait to see if United plays in a bid. Because it looks like he wants to play for United. I mean, I don't blame him. But it looks like he's going to go to Arsenal. So, if as a United fan, we get your hopes up. We know how the board works. We know how our club works. It'll be very unlikely for us to place in a bid last second for a player who's so young from a foreign country, not English. So it's a big risk, and I don't see it happening. Unfortunately, I would. Everyone knows. I'm sure if you were watching, you would do it. But yeah, that's that with that. And actually, to end on a positive note, there is one positive. Fantasy League. Listen, to everyone who's viewing, you can join our Fantasy League. We have started a Red Devils Africa Fantasy League, and the code will be in the description below. It'll be somewhere, you'll see like under the subscribe button, there'll be a little arrow. You hit that arrow, the list will come, and it should be I'll put the league code there. Please do join us if you want to compete. I will have my team, Clayton, who's a beast, who won like 10 grand or something like that in Fantasy League. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to keep his crown. Obviously, my other presenters, Marcus will be in there, Moloto will be in there, So yeah, come on, join the league, compete with us, and let's see who's the best. And maybe the winner will do a shout out. Maybe hopefully we can even get a giveaway or something, a reward or something for this league. So yeah, I'll leave the code in the description below, and as well as in the description, please do smash the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe, because we are trying to build a nice community, and we are just as one of you. We are not special. We're just a normal day average United fan, just like anyone else. I might talk a lot about United. I might have the United flag up, but I tend to see us all the same at the end of the day. So yeah, please do consider subscribing, turn on notifications, leave a like, comment your opinions. We had a lot. Tell us if I'm just waffling, if I'm just too stressed. Let me know if I'm too stressed. Let me know if everything's going to be fine, what you think of Sancho. And please do join our fantasy league. Like it'll be a mad time. And yeah, let's get it really competitive. I know already. Yeah, a lot of fun. And I do know some big players in there. Clayton, like I said, is one of them. My uncle, who's like a 3-time champion, who shall be in there. Lots of people will be joining in there very soon. And yeah, we'll maybe do a show and a little wrap up every week of the Fantasy League. And with me and Clay, that's all. And we'll see you in the next one.